Sahanavatu Sahanavunatu Saviryam Karavamahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Question: besides attending lectures and taking classes, what else can I do to make progress in my spiritual journey? In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, मन मना भव मद भक्तः मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु, meaning that may your mind be engaged in thinking about me, may you be devoted to me, may you love me in your heart, you perform all the actions for me, and thus may you surrender to me. This is the program that Lord Krishna gives of what a spiritual seeker should ideally be doing. That all the aspects of our being are surrendered or devoted or centered on the Lord. So question is, besides attending lectures and taking classes, which is where our mind is engaged in thinking about Lord. Yes. So mind engaged in thinking about the Lord. Second, heart engaged in feeling about the Lord. So there should be prayer in whatever form you like. Prayer can be in the form of repeating names, repeating a mantra, repeating a formula, any language, anything that invokes a prayerful self in me. So with prayer, we connect with the Lord at the level of heart. So with listening to classes, attending classes, we connect with the Lord at the level of intellect. With prayer, worship, whatever is your choice, depending upon your upbringing. Every culture always prescribes some forms of worship, which is the way of connecting myself with the Lord at the level of heart. So worship also should be there. Worship includes, as I say, it can include puja, depends upon your samskaras, repeating stotra, repeating prayers, doing japa, repeating the name. All of this is a form of worship. In the class we saw worship can be carried out at all three levels, the level of body, speech and the mind. So body worship involves some kind of offering, adoration of the Lord. Speech, praising the Lord, remembering the Lord, praising His glories. The level of thought, meditating upon Him, mental worship. So this is the worship. So Vedanta helps us to do the inquiry or deliberate upon the nature of the Lord. Worship helps us to connect with the Lord, the level of the heart. Madhyaji, then Lord Krishna says, whatever action you perform, perform for me. What it may mean is that let there be one goal in the life. Ishvara is the goal. Moksha is the goal. So whatever I do should be all directly or indirectly become the means of moksha. Meaning I ask myself, I am about to perform an action. Why am I performing it? What do I expect? Or what is the purpose of performing the action? The purpose can be some worldly purpose. Purpose can be, variety of purposes can be there. Lord Krishna says, may I be the purpose of your actions. So whatever action I perform, may it become the means of knowledge or may it lead me to knowledge. Whatever action I perform, may it become the means of purification of my mind. So may the action I perform with a certain attitude, as we discussed in the morning. Attitude of service, attitude of offering, attitude of helping. That may I refrain from performing actions which are binding actions, as we discussed in the morning. Because that only perpetuates the cycle of action, reaction, action, reaction. So I want to perform actions that are liberating actions, perform with the right attitudes. So doing what is right and refraining from doing what is not right. So there are two things in every situation, what is right and what I like. So often what I like may not be what is right. 4 sweets were presented before me this evening. What I like, as you can understand, is enjoying them. Whether it is right or not is a different thing. So, if there is a conflict between what is right and what I like, I should do what is right. Which requires me to have self-control. So controlling my mind, self-control, self-restraint. And so, this is how karma, action also is performed as a means of ultimately knowing the Lord or achieving the Lord. Mam Namaskuru, and thus let there be a spirit of surrender to the Lord. Bringing Lord into our life. More of Ishvara, less of I. So thus at all the levels, we should connect ourselves with the Lord. Meaning that over and above attending the classes of Vedanta and listening to lectures is wonderful. But we should also be conscious about the purification of the mind. Conscious about the values. Conscious about non-binding actions. So alertness is required. Awareness is required of what I am doing. What's the purpose of what I am doing? One should become very alert and clear about it. And that will give us a guidance of which way to go. So all these things should be there. The level of karma, the level of worship, the level of thinking. Manvana bhava, mad bhakta, madhyaji. Madhyaji, perform actions for me. Mad bhakta, perform acts of worship. Manvana means think about me, contemplate about me. That's what we should do to help us, our spiritual progress. Any further questions on this? Is limited I same as ego? Well, really speaking, limited and I do not go together. I is limitless. So looking upon I as limited is ego. that I is felt to be limited when we also lump with the I what is not I. So body, mind, sense complex, when it is looked upon as I, so taking this body or mind, sense, etc., you can call that ego, it's true. Which is when I feel a sense of limitation. So, but ego is a product of identification with my body, mind, sense complex. That's called ego. There is a request for bhajan that will do at the end. What is death? Does the soul exist? If so, what happens to the soul? Is person reborn or not? So what is this body? What we call gross body is the dwelling place for the Jivatma. You call it soul or call it Jiva. That limited I, that ego. This body is the dwelling place for ego or Jivatma. And that Jivatma remains in this body or the dwelling place as long as he has a purpose to stay here. When that purpose is accomplished, there is no need for him to stay here anymore. He departs from this body, from this dwelling. That soul or Jivatma departing from this body, which is the dwelling place, is called death. Like changing your house. So you are transferred. In India there is a transfer. In the government job you are transferred from one place to there. Here also it may be happening, but there is much happening. So transferred from Bombay to Ahmedabad. So far you are living in Bombay in your house, come to Ahmedabad, change your house. You have that house, coming to new house. When you come to a new house, you carry all your baggage with you. You do not leave baggage there, you bring it all with you. So also, this Jiva carries all his baggage with him. What's the baggage? All his likes and dislikes, all everything. So, whatever good, bad, indifferent, whatever is accumulated, all of that goes with him. Tab vidya karmani samanvara bhete pura prajnacha. Upanishad says that all karma, rituals, all the results of all the good deeds that he has done, they go with him. Vidya, whatever meditations is performed, result go with him. By virtue of that, even what bad actions is performed, the results go with him. Whatever bad meditations is performed in the mind, that also goes with him. Result. Pura prajnacha. And whatever maturity is gained, that also goes with him. Whatever spiritual growth he has carried out, it also goes with him. So all of this go with him. This is called the baggage. And therefore, he is born with that. That's the reason why every individual is born with his or her unique nature. Everyone has their own composition of likes and dislikes. So everyone has a unique history, and the present is the product of the past. Since the past is different for everybody, therefore, that explains the differences existing in the different people. The continuity of life, meaning that life continues, the jiva continues. And separation from one body is called the death of this body. Because now there is nothing to impart life or sentiency to this body. It was the jiva, or the self, or the soul, we call it. It's called jiva because prana dharana. The word jiva is derived from the root jiva in the sense of prana dharana. He was sustaining the life. When it departs, there is no life. Therefore the body becomes lifeless and we call it death. And so death is body becoming lifeless because what was imparting life has left. And so, but rebirth is certain. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityuhu dhruvam janmamrutasya cha. Lord Krishna says that birth is certain for the one who dies. Death is certain for the one who is born, and birth is certain for the one who dies. So this one we know. That death is certain for one who is born. That we know. But Lord Krishna further says that birth also is certain for the one who dies. Meaning that we continue. Why do we continue? Because there is an agenda. Each one of us has an agenda. What is the agenda? Moksha is our agenda. We want total freedom, unconditional happiness. Moksha is described as cessation once and for all of all the sorrow and attainment forever the unsurpassable happiness. So Atyantika Dukkha Nivrutti, that means the cessation of sorrow once and for all. Niratisha Sukha Avapti, attainment of unsurpassable happiness. This is our agenda. So as long as the agenda is not complete, we will continue to take new embodiments. Meaning that the purpose of the human embodiment is to fulfill the agenda. Not fulfilled, we will continue. And for most, the agenda is not fulfilled. If there is someone whose agenda is fulfilled, there is no need for birth. So being born is out of the need. We take the birth because of the need to fulfill our agenda. If the agenda gets fulfilled in the lifespan, we become free from need, in which case there is no need to take another birth. Otherwise, you take another birth. In the sattva state, so in the evening talks we talked about the three gunas or three dispositions, sattva, rajas and tamas. When the tamas prevails in the mind, person feels lazy, lethargic, sleepy, that is tamas. When the rajas prevails in the mind is restless, active, greedy, go-getting, dissatisfied. And when the sattva prevails in the mind, there is self-satisfaction. There is contentment, satisfaction, tranquility. So question is, if the sattva state is a happy, satisfied state, then what is going beyond this? What do you want now? If your mind is sattvic, so we said that an important aspect of our spiritual journey is purification of mind. What is meant by purification of mind is that rajas and tamas, raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion, they are removed from the mind, which requires a conscious, deliberate and a long-term effort. Mind becomes sattvic. Then you experience satisfaction with yourself. You are happy with yourself. So that is the state of sattva. So question is now, what remains to be done? When you already have attained that self-satisfaction, you are happy, then what more? What is going beyond that? Why do you want to go beyond that? You are happy, why do you want to go beyond that? But even when you are experiencing happiness with yourself, the notion that I am happy remains. I am happy. That I am unhappy. The happy is what we saw. It is mithya. It is changing. It is bondage. But that also should go. So what is transcending sattva? I am Happiness belongs to Sattva. So, when I am identified with Sattva, I am happy. When I give up the identification with Sattva also, then I am. Which is what? Boundless happy. Because I am is boundless, as we saw. Parama Purna Sat. Parama limitless, Purna complete, Sat very existence. To be able to recognize oneself as complete is the purpose of even going beyond Sattva. So, when the mind is sattvic, you see yourself as a happy person, but not limitless person. Happy also is limited. And so, even that limitation also goes, and that limitless I am. Happiness I am. Not happy, but happiness I am. So that's the purpose of your transcending Sattva. Okay?
Swami. So I think what I was trying to get at was equanimity, meaning happiness or sadness has to be.
So, when you go beyond Sattva, is it tranquility or equanimity?
Yeah.
Tranquility, equanimity are states of mind.
Okay.
And that is sattvic mind. So tranquility, equanimity also is not the state of I. And there were, of course, mind is tranquil, mind is equanimous. But then I transcend that idea also. How has the Jiva overpowered the Atman to have made us lead a life of ignorance? It's not Jiva, the ignorance has overpowered the Atman. Imagine. Ignorance has overpowered God, Brahman. Who is Atman? Who is the self? Really, Ishvara is the self. Brahman is the self. Ignorance has even overpowered the self, has made the limitless self think of itself as a limited being and made this limitless self seek limitlessness. So this is what ignorance does. Like the 10th man story. That he thinks that the 10th man is lost because he does not take himself into account when he counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He doesn't say that I am the 10th. 10th man is lost. Looking for the 10th man. That's the ignorance of the self. The ignorance of the self has overpowered the 10th man and created in him the notion that I am the 9th man. And he is set for a ride. What ride? Searching for the 10th man. Searching for what cannot be attained. He is seeking to attain something unattainable. That's what ignorance does. So it is true. Just the ignorance overpowers the 10th man and makes that fellow go through the process of searching for the 10th man. So ignorance overpowers Brahman. That's what Vedanta explains. That is the nature of ignorance. To overpower. To veil and project. Veiling the true nature and projecting what is not. Veiling the fact that I am limitless and projecting a sense of limitation about myself. That's what ignorance does. So ignorance has overpowered even Brahman. Only Vedanta says, nobody is like this. What do you mean Brahman is overpowered? How can it be? So then emotional problem comes. Brahman being overpowered, not that easy. So then you come up with different kinds of explanations, that no, you are not Brahman, you are something else, you are part of Brahman, you this, that. Because if you are Brahman, then you would accept that Brahman is samsari. Brahman is being born, Brahman is dying, Brahman is being born, he is seeking, he is sad, he is unhappy. How can it be? So, people cannot swallow the idea that Brahman is samsari. That Brahman is feeling sorrowful. Brahman is unhappy. Cannot be. Brahman Brahman, which is limitless, and unhappiness cannot go together. Brahman of the nature of consciousness and ignorance cannot go together. How can there be darkness in the sun? Tell me. Is it possible that darkness is there in sun? How can ignorance be there in Brahman? That's what they ask. Therefore they do not accept this. They say, no, you are not Brahman. You are part of Brahman, different from Brahman. You are something other than Brahman, for sure. Because Brahman cannot be samsari. Vedanta says there is only one Brahman. So samsari also is him and liberated also is him. So that way you have to say that ignorance is as though overpowered, not really overpowered. You can call it overpowered in primary sense if ignorance made him bound, then it's a different thing. But then Brahman doesn't get bound. Bondage is notion. So ignorance creates a notion or appearance. Ignorance does not create anything real. Ignorance can only create an appearance. But if you do not know the appearance is appearance, then we take it as real. Therefore we think Brahman is maybe limited. But limitedness is only a sense or appearance, not a reality. Ignorance cannot create anything real. Ignorance can create an appearance. So ignorance of the rope cannot create a snake. Ignorance of the rope can create the appearance of the snake. You follow? The rope snake example, there is no real snake. What there is the appearance of snake. The illusion of snake you don't be part. That's all ignorance can do. Since we do not know that this is the appearance of snake, we take it to be real, and that's how all reactions are created in us. So, ignorance cannot be said to overpower the self. Ignorance creates this kind of delusion for the self. When the self recognizes a delusion, they go. If it's overpowered, then something has to be. The bondage was, if the real bondage was there, then something else will be required. Bondage is not real. You know the story of the cow? The story of a teacher, guru, and shishya, the disciple. They were living in a forest, in a hut, and disciple was learning at the feet of the teacher and serving the teacher. So one of the duties that the disciple had to perform was to take the cows for grazing in the morning and bring them back in the afternoon. There were 4 cows. One afternoon when this disciple returned, after grazing the cows, he found that there were only 3 ropes. Each cow was tied to a post with a rope. This fellow found that there were only 3 ropes, the 4th rope was missing. So 3 cows are tied to the post. What about the 4th cow? What to do? So he goes to his teacher. Sir, the 4th rope is missing. What should I do? How do I tie the cow? He said, you tie the cow. How can I tie? There's no rope. Doesn't matter. You do the same gestures as though you are tying the cow. And this fellow thought there's some problem. This old man, some problem. Anyway, he was an obedient student disciple. That's why he obeyed what the teacher told him. And he took the cow to the appointed place and made the gestures of time. And to his utter surprise, the cow became stable, stood there, sat there. This fellow, the teacher, seems to have some magic power. He could not believe. So every half an hour he would get up and see. Whole night he could not sleep. What if the cow walks away? So that is surprise, the cow remained there. Next morning, he untied the 3 cows, twist the tail, and the cow starts walking. This cow is not tied. So he twists the tail and the cow doesn't walk. How come the cow doesn't walk? Maybe his teacher has some kind of magic and arrested the cow. So he goes to the teacher. What's the how how come this cow is not walking? Hey, did you untie the cow? But I have not tried. Untie. So it goes and makes the gestures of untying the cow. And utter surprise, now when you twist the tail, the cow starts walking. This tying of the cow. What is the nature of bondage of the cow? Bondage is where? Only in the mind. That's what ignorance can do. It cannot be real bondage. Otherwise, the solution is different solution. It is just the delusion or notion of bondage is created. So what we need to do is to remove the notion of bondage, not real bondage, notion of bondage. So that much ignorance does. That much you have to accept. It is the nature of ignorance to do that. That's why we call it Maya also. Maya means that which cannot be explained. Inscrutable are the ways of Maya, or inscrutable are the ways of ignorance. That's what ignorance is, right? So here is the question. It seems that there are two streams going on in the mind simultaneously. One is obvious where the presence of the mind is, and the other in the background. So suppose you are cooking. Then one part of the mind is in cooking. Same time something else is going on in the mind. The japa is going on. What happens is, if you are repeating Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, then you find that Om Namah Shivaya goes on with itself without your having to make an effort. So you are cooking. All of a sudden, your attention goes to your mind. Om Namah Shivaya is going on. So how does it happen? Thing is, what is this phenomenon? It is a phenomenon that mind also can be mechanical. Meaning that, what is mechanical? That which is done without a deliberate effort, which gets done. So mind also can act mechanically. So many things we do mechanically. That we are doing every day, which does not require attention, those chores or tasks get done by themselves, like brushing the teeth, think something like that, taking shower, putting on your clothes, going to the bus stop, riding the bus. It's all happening routinely. And even if you are not attentive, these tasks take place. Because one part of the mind is there which does this task without your having to pay attention. Because you have been doing it for a long time, the mind mechanically does. Similarly also, Om Namah Shivaya you are doing deliberately. 5 rounds, 10 rounds. And so then, because it's done for a long time, then the mind itself does it. And so, without your effort or attention, mind keeps on repeating. And I think everybody has an experience, that in the morning if you listen to some bhajan, some song, and that line goes on for the whole day. Does it? It happens to me anyway. So in the morning, you listen to some stotra, some recital, and mind escort goes on. The moment you become free from something, that thing starts. As long as the mind is occupied, you don't feel it. The moment the mind gets some time, free time, that thing starts. Meaning that a mechanical stream is also going on of something that you have been doing for long. This is the habit of the mind. And therefore, you find that in your mind, the japa also goes on. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. In a way, it is good. When you discover that it's going on, try to become as conscious as you can. So become conscious and pay attention to Om Namah Shivaya. Then it will become a deliberate thing. Otherwise, if mechanically it goes on, doesn't have much meaning. Some meaning is there, but not much meaning. When it goes on, consciously. So when you catch your mind repeating Om Namah Shivaya mechanically, become conscious about it. And use that opportunity of consciously repeating that Om Namah Shivaya or whatever it is that you are repeating. Can Swamiji talk on the role which time plays in clarification or nishtha of the knowledge? What's the role of time in gaining abidance in the knowledge? There is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says, Nahi jnanena sadusham pavitrameha vidyate. You know this verse? That's the verse that our Puja Swami selected as, what do you call it, the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam? See, what is it called?
Tagline.
Huh? Tagline? Tagline. All right. Doesn't sound a good word, but I know.
Main message?
Motto.
Motto.
Mission statement.
Mission statement. All right. Nahi jnanena sadusham. Even the second part is also not equal. There is nothing which is as purified as the knowledge is. Then in second line, Lord Krishna says, Tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. Yoga samsiddha, one has gained perfection in yoga, meaning one has gained the purification of mind. Kalena, in course of time, he gains an abidance in the knowledge. So gaining abidance is a process. That the knowledge becomes abiding when the obstacles to abidance, they go. And these likes and dislikes, some of them may remain, some desires may remain. Anything that distracts the mind, makes the mind extrovert, that becomes an obstacle in abidance in knowledge. So therefore the time is required to slowly drive out all those elements which distract the mind. Also, the biggest element that comes in the way of abidance in knowledge is the habit of identification of the body. So Dehata Buddhi, identification of the body. So when you are not alert, automatically my mind identifies the body and I take the body to be myself. When alert, I say I'm Brahma, I'm Brahman. Not alert, the old habit of taking the body to be myself again catches hold of me. You have to become free from the habit by remaining alert to the knowledge that I'm Brahman, I'm Brahman. That's called Nididhyasana. So the Nididhyasana is for removing the habitual error. Shravanam, listening, is for removing the ignorance. Mananam is for removing the doubts. Nididhyasana is for removing the habitual error. All of this takes time. So time has a role, meaning that time is needed to gain an abidance in knowledge. Time is needed to achieve anything. So here also what I want to achieve is abidance in knowledge, and time is needed for removing obstacles. Just as you know that there is water in the earth, but time is needed to dig a well, to remove all the obstacles that are there between you and water. Then you get the water. Or better than water also is sometimes there is a treasure is buried underneath. This example is given in Vivek Chudamani. A treasure is buried underneath. Some person who knows says, hey, Swami, there is a treasure there, your great grandfather is buried in there. So now I know that there is treasure. But to become the owner of the treasure, I must make an effort. to remove whatever obstacles are there. Similarly also, you need to remove the obstacles to gain an abidance in the knowledge. And that's what takes time. So time in that way plays a role, meaning that time is required to attain the ultimate goal of abidance in knowledge. It's a process. Was there a question? Okay. Is a changing aspect of the I thought the conditioned mind based on past experiences and vasanas? Does purification of antahkarana work on this viveka of changing and the changeless? The changing aspect of I thought is a result of the identification with the body-mind sense complex. What is I thought? What is the ego? Ego is the notion of I that arises as a result of identification with the body-mind sense complex. So identification of the body creates one set of thoughts. I am tall, I am short, I am fat, I am lean, I am fair, I am dark, etc., etc. Meaning superimposing the attributes of body upon the self, one set of thoughts. Similarly, identity with mind. That's why Taittiriya Upanishad talks about the 5 koshas. 5 C's means the 5 levels of identification. So personality is conceived of as made up of 5 layers. The outermost layer is the gross body. Then there is prana or the vital air. Then the mind or the emotional faculty. Intellect or the thinking faculty. And then there is blissful kosha. So, these are the 5 levels of personality. Identification in each level, a layer, creates the corresponding notion. That's called ego. Ego is the I self identified with the body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, that identification keeps changing. That's the changing aspect. Or what the self is identified with is changing. So because I identify with the body is changing. Therefore the notion of I also will keep on changing. So changing aspect of the I arises from the identification with the body or the mind or the sense organs. And thus this is a viveka where we told that this is unreal, this is real. This is non-self, self. So the viveka or discrimination between the self and the non-self. The Atma-Anatma viveka or Druk-Drishya viveka, the subject-object discrimination.
Swamiji, the vasanas and the experiences are related to, I guess, to the body-mind then, right? And this is the one that is kind of hard to get rid of.
See, what is vasana? Vasana is a habit.
Right.
Habitual pattern of thinking is called vasana. Meaning that thinking takes place without your deliberation. So identification also takes place without our deliberation. Habitual thing. And therefore that can be called vasana. The habit of identifying the body, mind, sense complex. And that habit is something to be overcome by being alert or awareful. Is I synonymous with I am? The I is stated aham ahantaya. The I is repeated twice. Twice means constantly goes on. So this is called vipsa or repetition, which means everything. He went from home to home, means he went to all homes, not just two homes. I means what? That appreciation of myself as consciousness persists. That I am consciousness, I am consciousness, I am conscious, I am Brahman. That is what is meant by I. Means there is a stream of this appreciation of knowledge. I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. A little complicated question. Is not objectification aspect of mind an attribute of reality? Is not objectification aspect of mind an attribute of awareness? That is not, this question is not clear. Objectification aspect of mind, an attribute of awareness. I do not know what is meant by this question. Any idea? Can you explain your question?
Swamiji, could it be referring to subject to object or?
See, objectification aspect of mind, what does it mean? An attribute of self. Objectification means mind is an object and I thought is a subject. Either subject, object also is not self and subject also is not self as subject. The content of subject is self, but then self is not subject also in the primary sense. The subject is one that is opposed to object. Subject always is with reference to object. There is no object, there is no subject. The subject also is relative, a role that the self plays. And that final role is given up. So when it said that where does the I thought come? The I thought or that subject also has a role. And when the role also is given, a role comes from identification, and that is given up. All that remains is the self without the role. That's called I. So maybe somebody can explain the question better, and then we can perhaps discuss it. Regarding the verse number 5, verse number 5 is Jagat Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrut Deva Pujanam. Brahma Maharshi says that worshipping the universe with the attitude that it is Ishvara is worship of Ishvara in the 8 forms. So what is universe? Universe is 5 elements. And then sun and moon, the luminaries, and self, the consciousness. That is how the universe is conceived as made up of these 8 aspects. You can reduce it to 1, you can reduce it to 2, that's one way of looking at the universe. that the universe is made up of these 8 aspects, that there are 5 elements: space, air, fire, water and earth. There are luminaries, sun and moon, and there is the self or the consciousness. So that means what is world? Is the Lord of 8 forms manifest as the universe. Therefore, worshipping universe becomes the worship of the Lord of 8 forms. It's a way of looking at things. So this is one way of looking at the universe, as though it is these 8 forms. Each is a form of the Lord. So Lord of 8 forms as manifested as the universe. Earth is this form, element water is this form, fire, air, etc. They're all his forms or manifestations. The idea is that the universe is a manifestation of divine. So everything is divine. So everything means what? Those are 8 things. That's how that everything is classified as 8 for the purpose of simplicity in our mind. You can read for the background on this practice. Our Puja Swami's book is there on Upadesa Saaram. On this verse we can see some discussion on that. But it's not much more than what I said. As we said, that Ishvara, Lord, is both the maker as well as the material. Meaning that, just as the clay manifests as all pots and pans, Ishvara, being the material, has manifested as the universe. So we conceive Ishvara as made of these 8 aspects. That's a way of conceiving, looking at it. And that's how you say that the universe, which is manifestation of Ishvara, is manifestation of 8 forms. You can see Ishvara has 15 forms, 5 forms, 2 forms, 1 form, depends on how, but this is one way. Because in the forms of the rituals, this has a certain application. That's why it is referred to here. For us it means that look upon Ishvara and the Jagat as manifested Ishvara and worship that way. What about when there is a real snake? Isn't that a problem? The question is, what about when there is a problem? Meaning a real snake? All the time you keep talking about rope snake and say there is no problem, no problem. What about real snake? Isn't that a problem? Even a snake bite? Life's troubles? Hardships? The blessing in disguise? More acceptance, trust Ishvara. It is true. You see, when we say there is no problem, it is said from the standpoint of Ishvara or absolute standpoint. When the life is given reality, if the world is given reality, if our sense of limitation is given reality, then there are real problems. Many problems of snake bite is as real as the body, as real as the ego. If ego is not real, then problems of ego also are not real. What is meant by problem is, the snake bite can be there. A snake bite is not my problem. The snake bite makes me feel helpless, makes me feel sad, unhappy, helpless. That sadness, unhappiness, helplessness is the problem. Snake bite or resultant pain, etc., also is not a problem. The fear that it causes, the hopelessness that it causes, the helplessness it causes, there is a problem. So understand what we mean by the word problem. We do not mean that there are no situations in life. Yes, there are snake bites. There are life's troubles. There are hardships. They are all there. They are all situations. A hardship need not make me sad or unhappy. People invite hardships. So I am going to Kailas Man Sarovar. From this comfort, man, Kailas Man is what? So much trekking is involved and so much hardship. Something here, but that's what makes them do it. When they come out, Swami is a wonderful experience. All the hardship also is a wonderful experience. So hardship need not necessarily make me unhappy. Hardship need not be a problem. It is when I resist that hardship, when I reject that hardship, when I consider hardship as unfair to me, when I consider there is an injustice here, that is when hardship creates hurt, creates resentment, creates unhappiness. So between that hardship and resultant unhappiness, a process is involved. What is the process? That because of hardship, I judge myself as a person who is dealt with injustice, unfairness. Why should this happen to me? Why me? Etc. If otherwise, if the mind is composed, then hardship will not make us sad. Then will help us to do what is required behind hardship. I'm not suggesting hardship is a welcome thing or not, but hardship per se need not make us unhappy. As people are, they are tracking all kinds of things they are doing, the adventures things they are doing. But how much hardship is there? But there is a triumph in that hardship, because that's the accepted hardship. Hardship is not, that hardship does not create that, I don't like it. It does not resist, does not reject, does not judge himself as a victim. When hardship comes, I judge myself as a victim. I feel helpless. I have resentment. I have anger. I'm hurt. I'm unhappy. It is not hardship. The perception of myself that hardship creates is a thing. If hardship creates the perception that I am a triumphant one who could overcome this hardship, or hardship creates the perception that I am a victim. Victim of unfairness, injustice, an unjust system, unjust whatever things, makes me feel helpless. So that's what makes me sad. Hardship does not make me sad. It is helplessness that makes me sad. A sense of being victim makes me sad. A sense of being treated with injustice, it makes me sad. That hurt that it causes makes me sad. Easy to say, difficult to do, that I understand. But this is true. Because it becomes a habit. Moment something painful comes, I just resist. Why? Why should pain come to me? Why does not come to this person? Why does it come to me? Comes to everybody, I would not have a problem. Comes to me and not to somebody else. That becomes my problem. And I sympathize with them. When I saying they sound like totally cruel or insensitive. That's not the point. Vedanta becomes, there's a way of looking at things. The sensitivity, all those stuff is just emotional stuff. All in superimposition, that's what Vedanta says. And so all emotionalism arises from superimposition. Hurt and guilt and this and that. All superimposition, all product of ignorance. So objective, there need not be that. Hardship will be there, it's prarabdha. How I perceive it, or how I perceive myself in that situation, is what makes all the difference. If I perceive myself as a victim, causes me unhappiness. Myself as prasad, all right, it's a part of life, what's the big deal? But Swami, one hardship after the other, after the other, after the other, then what? I don't know. Maybe hardship comes to make us stronger. If you trust in Ishvara, then we know that He gives the hardship also for some purpose. So here he says, blessing in disguise, more acceptance and trust of Ishvara. More we have, less these things make us unhappy. How would Swamiji translate Ishvara Arpitam? Arpitam offered. Ishvara Arpitam offered to Ishvara. So how would translate to the word gratitude used in the West, which does not directly thank God, but basically how does the attitude or sentiment of gratitude arise when I see myself as a recipient or a beneficiary of the help and the contribution which is showered upon me? Is it not so? When do I feel a sense of gratitude? When I realize that I have been helped. I have been the beneficiary of somebody's contribution, somebody's good work. That's how the gratitude comes. So there is an appreciation of my being favored. Is something that is favoring me. So whether you call it God or God, whatever you call it. Ever Swami would say it's more graceful to call it grace or bring Ishvara into it. But then who else? When you say I am grateful to you, now who are you? Either you are a human being or you are a manifestation of Ishvara, then all gratitude goes to Ishvara. Ultimately, who can help me? Even if a person helps me, how did the person help me? The person had the thought, let me help. Person had also the capacity to help. So who created that thought? Who first of all made that person present that time? Who created a thought of helping me? And who gave that person the ability to help? So meaning that even when person does something, there are many things that that person also has been given. Oh, my mother gave this, my father. And they also were given, and ultimately giver. It all ultimately culminates into the giver, the ultimate giver, which is Ishvara. So when we think of our life, we realize yes, there is a lot of gratitude. From that arises also the sense of, that towards Ishvara. If there is gratitude, always there is a desire to return the favor. And that's called arpanam. Performing action in the sense of gratitude. Sense of offering returning the favor. Does that answer the question? Okay. Alright. So finally a bhajan. This bhajan is in Hindi, or maybe I choose something that is just the name of God. That would have been better. Okay. Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana They're all the names of the Lord. Narayana also is the name of Lord. Hari also is the name of the Lord. Govinda also is the name of Lord. Krishna. Narayana, Hari Narayana, Narayana, Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Each of them also being the name of the Lord. Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda 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 Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Narayana Hari Narayana, Nanda Govinda Ananda 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 Nanda Govinda Ananda Narayana. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.